world where space and time are intertwined, one man dared to challenge the status quo. His name? Dayton Miller. His weapon of choice, a flute. But not just any flute. This instrument held the power to unleash the ether, a pervasive medium once thought to fill the universe.
All right, hello and welcome to the world premiere of Man of Stone's new video and analysis on Airy's failure. Man of Stone, take it away, sir, whenever you're ready.
Alrighty, welcome all. Got a nice sizable chunk of people here. That is awesome to see. I don't know, not much needs to be said in preamble since there has been so much discussion and argument and everything else in and out about Airy's failure, quote, in the past few weeks, Friday nights inclusively. So I'm a little dissatisfied at myself and my own life situations that it took me an extra week to get this out. It would have been better to get it out before Christmas when the topic was a lot hotter and there was a lot more conjecture flying back on the table. But so be it. Here we are. Call it a late Christmas present to y'all. And she's quite a, quote, girther. She's a 9-minute file, gang. So buckle up. And we're going to do the usual plan. We'll run it straight through uninterrupted. And then we'll run it through again, stopping a few times here and there so you can read the longer quote bits so nobody gets left behind, and take a closer look at some of the graphical data. And there's plenty of that. So fasten up and yeah, enjoy, guys. I'm going to mute up so you guys can get this straight from the goods. Enjoy. Double checking. Everybody good? Is that coming through good?
Solid, brother.
Yes, it is.
Solid,
it is.
brother.
All right, let's get back to it.
Let's go.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't straight up. It was at an angle, right? But it was. I forgot the name of the star.
Dude,
And there it is, gang.
that was incredible, Stone. Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I can see the light.
Yeah.
Man, you really
Couple
have a
100
way
frames.
with data and presenting it.
Thanks, Matt. Any questions before we get back to it a second time, gang? Everybody seems fairly entranced. Perfect. All
Yeah, I
right,
liked
so
it.
we're leaving
Some
the
of
mic
slides
on.
went by a little bit fast because I'm a slow reader.
For sure.
I
Well,
know
you know,
it's
that's
gonna
why
be
we call
extra
the series this format. We call it a quick couple of thoughts for that reason, just so that we're not standing around wasting everybody's time talking about it, yammer. It's like, bam, here it is, bam, here it is, bam, here it is. And if you want to look, that's why I recommend frequent use of the pause key when anybody reviews just about any of my videos, because I just don't have the patience, and I have respect for the crowd, you might say. I'm not here to bore you. I'm here to give you as much what's the word, groomed information that I can. I want to present it in the most intelligible way, in the most easily interpreted, the most easily digestible, comprehensible way, if any of that's making sense. I want it to be an experience where you're watching, it's like, oh, okay, that's right. Okay, that's right. Oh, I get that. Okay, I get that. Okay. And you're not thinking about what did I just see? You're thinking, okay, I've seen it. I know what it is. Let's see what's next. And there's no talking about the inconsequential. It's all straight down to business. That's I guess that's my goal. So yeah, let's bring it up again, guys. We're gonna go back to the beginning here. And we'll get to it. We'll bring the volume down this time. Oh, there's trivia. Anybody know the artist?
No, but the music was really good. You mentioned something about blending stuff together or whatever. It all sounded like the same song, so it was really good. I liked it.
No, it couldn't possibly. Oh no, it's like those are performances over nearly 2 decades by a man, a good old Saskatchewan boy named Jeff Healey, who is no longer with us. He went through life blind, and if you ever do look up Jeff Healey and see him perform, the first thing you're gonna notice is most of the time he spends his time sitting on a chair with the guitar in his lap. He doesn't wear a strap like most guitarists do. And every once in a while, in a solo, he used to just grab his guitar, stand up, and start dancing around with it. Doesn't give a shit where like mic stands, booms, or anything else is around him. They've cleared him his space on the stage, and he even plays the guitar with his teeth like Jimi Hendrix used to do, which I thought was also quite notable for a blind dude from Saskatchewan. I thought he did pretty shit hot in terms of his career, and this song was pretty much his flagship tune, called "You See the Light." Nice. So yeah, look up the lyrics for it. It's pretty. It's a short a bunch of lyrics, but straight to the point. Anyways, back to George here. So take these to the Trivial Pursuit party you're going to next. I don't know, maybe proper wasn't the word, because people had obviously been using cogs for centuries, but what he did was, I guess, refine the art of cog production, reducing friction and that type of thing in the mechanism, industry-wide. Everybody recognizes that one there because you're buying them at the store these days. That's just, essentially a giant cylindrical tripod with one set of bearings to take you around the azimuth and the other set of bearings where he's grabbing onto it, controlling your altitude. This is just a real big one. You guys should look into that one too. There's a lot of those going around still. This I thought was an interesting point. After the quote great fire, he just stepped right on in and said, "Okay, let's just set up a new batch of stuff to keep in the museum."
Yo,
And,
wait,
that's
wait,
where
whoa,
he
wait,
told
whoa,
me.
whoa. Hold on a second. What did
Pretty
he do?
trippy, hey?
What did he do? Coming up with new standards. What was his involvement?
So this is like the Great Fire in London, and it blew through town and decimated everything. Very similar to all the things we see happened in North America. Forget all the fairs that were blasted apart. It was about all the fires, coast to coast, in the early, I guess, the very late 18th, late 19th century and early 20th. Like fires were lit, stories were told, and cities were just blown to ashes. London was no exception, and one of the things that went up was their building of standards, weights, and measures. So Airy stepped in and said, okay, let's develop a set that the country can use and get back on our feet when it comes to standardization. And here they are. This is the meter, this is the yard. Particularly the yard was very valuable in the British system. The inch, the foot, they were all fairly common, but there are other, there are other standards. There are other lengths, rods, for example. There are plenty in the British system that needed to be agreed upon. And he was one of the guys who kind of brought that back up, put it back on the rails, so to speak.
Nice, dude. Shout out to your boy.
Yeah, what didn't he do? That's the question, hey? It's just amazing. What's trippy is I found most of these points written in a rather lengthy obituary about him.
Yeah, this one I find fascinating.
He's all about latitude.
The
It's
Canada,
just interesting,
the
eh?
border
It's
between
like-
Canada and America is so random to me.
Yeah, he's just helping out the surveyors with where you're gonna put the fence, between the two countries, basically, over the hills and through the woods, kind of thing. Where's it gonna be? And he helped them out with that, which I thought was pretty neat.
Determined by the position of the stars. Classic.
Yeah, pretty much. There's another one. That's one thing that if you know your British history, there were a lot of different rails, not just the rail dimensions like we're looking at here, but spacing between them as well, in terms of your size of your vehicle. This is another one I thought was just totally neat. That this is, okay, great, you can see the stars, great, we got another system where we can talk to people, but how do you know when things happen? How do you know when telegraphs are delivered, other than checking your sundial or some other lame shit like that? This is how we unify the timing in the country straight from the observation where this guy spent most of his life. No, that's not him in the picture, of course, because that's Queenie the second on the left, but I thought it was sufficient.
We would have never known
timing,
the
though,
difference
and
had
it really
you
was.
said anything.
The cool thing is that this part is true, is that it was right after he submitted this paper that he said, okay, I'm old enough now. It doesn't look bad for me to be knighted at the age I'm currently at. Like when he was in his 50s or whatever and invited to receive a knighthood, his response on the private, talking to his friends or whatever, was, nah, this really isn't good for my image yet. You know what I mean? Just like that can wait.
I like that slide.
There is verbiage in the obituary to this effect, that if across the earth, this is the guy who was consulted by many, many countries at the post-sec level on how to ordinate. and how to set up curriculum and how to set up your hardware. He was the guy everybody went to. It's just amazing. Nobody talks about it. That's the simplification. And that's the real beast. Alan has showed a few slides of this one here. So I took the time to color code out the distance in feet, top to bottom. So you get the idea that this sucker is closer to 7 feet high when it's all set up on its big old stump of a base, which was, I guess, either concrete or stone, and everything was thoroughly bolted to it with 1/4-inch lug bolts. You know what I mean? They were not messing around. This thing does not move. The only thing that moves is the spindle, which is right up the middle. I think L in figure 2, right in the center. You can see L on the center body of the spindle. And what's important to see is in figure 3, it's in the position like it is in figure 1 currently. Figure 2, no readings were actually taken in that orientation 90 degrees out from the extreme. You can see on L in figure 2, there's an M just below the letter L. Those are wings sticking out of the spindle and telescope pair, which actually move as a pair. The outside housing of the spindle moves with the telescope. And those M's, depending on which way you turn it, are going to meet R to the left of it in figure 2, so that it can only turn 180 degrees one way to the other. Like absolutely micrometer limited to the degree. This guy just had a bone for precision, which you've got to respect. So there's one of the long ones. This is the basic premise of the entire paper, the entire experiment. Goes to the side, things go to the side. It's all about how light slows it down in one direction. It's got to affect angular motion as well because the medium is moving transverse. So this is straight from the paper, and it's rather early in the introduction. And it's straight up. This is the one that we use when the globies say, oh no, Airy's failure wasn't about Earth moving, it was about the ether, blah, blah, blah. But you actually know the phenomenon, aberration of light, comes from the premise of Earth's motion and translatory motion. That's what the phenomenon is all about. I figured I'd use a wide percentage so people aren't glomming into the comments section under this video on BitChute going, it wasn't this number, it was that number, it wasn't 24, it was 25. Your video's bunk. You can just see it coming, so we left it wide because the premise holds. Okay, everybody get your rulers out, put them on the screen. You'll see these red dots go straight down. I couldn't make any clearer than that, could I? I mean, really, this is it right here. This is exactly what's going on. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this one. And all the 10-degree ones and stuff, but that's not what this experiment is about. This is the point here, and why I mentioned the spindle, why I mentioned the 180 degrees M on L and stuff. This is exactly what he did. Every time he took a measurement, it was full rotation one way, full rotation the other way, so that you can see the difference to reduce the error. And there it is. That's why I pointed it out on the far right, figure 3 with the green arrow, double-headed, that really you can see M on the arc of that green arrow at the outside of the machine, where there are actually 2 M's on it, as you can see in figure 1 when you compare, across the middle, hitting R and P.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't straight up. It was at an angle, right? But it was
I couldn't resist.
Star.
I put in this point because one of the things Mick Looney Tunes there said also is that, oh yeah, he took measurements for 6 months. Well, no, he didn't. He took measurements for a couple weeks here and a couple weeks there, 6 months apart. And there it is. This is the critical part. Why he picked Gamma Coronis in the first place is precisely where it is in the sky at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So that, you know, the sun is off to the horizon and it's easy to view fairly bright stars in the sky at those both times of the day during equinox. Spin!
Wow, look at that sky spin. Look at that sky spin.
Isn't that cool? These are so much fun to make. So this one has a lot of detail in it. So that is, you know, relative to the revolution around the sun, that there is a solar ecliptic, and that's 90 degrees away from it. So the Earth here is blowing to the right in this case, off screen. Sun will be far side. NP for North Pole. Then you factor in his latitude, where he's actually at. There's your spin from east to west. And that's what the telescope looks like when you talk about the zenith. So that's where they sit in the sky when you look up at them. So if you're doing the 6 a.m. measurement and you're on the south side of the telescope and you're looking up at Polaris, Eltonin will be directly overhead, Polaris will be to the north, also overhead, but at 51 degrees off the horizon. So then we take that, and then we show you that the orientation is supposed to be the same. The solar ecliptic is something that's supposed to never change, ever. The positions in the sky are supposed to never change, ever, so that when you get there 6 months later, everything is exactly the same spot. And you're going to see that. And this relates partially to that old, dusty Eric Dubé assertion about 6 months later, how come the sun's over there at exactly noon and yada, 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 because he didn't understand the difference between a solar and a sidereal day and how the model computes those differently. And this is sort of the antithesis of that argument right here.
Can you see the light? Can you see the light of love shining from my heart? Can you see the light? Well, see the light of
Here's the one everybody's totally familiar with. I'm sure everybody has seen this, but they're looking at 4 columns of data, and I bet nearly none of you know why there are 4 columns of data. The thing is that they don't differ by 0.8 arc seconds. The point is that they're actually the same readings. And this is what we're going to move into. Everybody recognize that beautiful Excel generation of an image there? So everybody get the notation? 51 degrees, 28 minutes, 34 seconds. 33, 34, 36 seconds. This is really the deviation in the instrument and how much you're seeing in between readings. Arc seconds. .36 hundredths of a degree. Then I do what I always do. And there it is, gang. So you can see that the spring is the green box and the autumn is the pink box. And the readings themselves, they're the same. Give or take 2 or 3 spurious errors, you know what I mean? They're all very tightly together. These data points, they completely overlap by 2 arc seconds. And this is where we quantify what's going on. The 0.8 arc seconds you can see on the far left where I show those 2 means, the 2 mean values that we show earlier from Bowden's work and from Airy's page, of course. Guys. As in 153 years ago, gang. So there we are in 1871, and there we are in 2024. Did you guys blink? There's one, there's the other. You got it? One and the other. That's 153 years later. Back 153, jump in the Wayback Machine, jump out of the Wayback Machine. Here we are now. Same moment in time. 1749-25 in both frames. The same second in the year. Those puppies are right there. And that's the punchline. Any questions?
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So what I'm picking up is that so even though we treat the Earth as stationary and just like a plane, we know that it's a spinning ball.
Oh yeah, and we're just whizzing all over the place and we're wobbling back and forth. But somehow, some way, that star is right there. Every time.
I like the 2 different, well, not different, the 2 pictures of stars over a century apart. I want someone to say that's a meaningful deviation.
Oh yeah, that's 153 years of wobble just went
Well, yeah, I was gonna say one of them mutations just got disproved when you compared a star however many hundred years ahead of time. Because how many years was it supposed to change from Polaris to some other star? With like 600 or whatever, like a 1 degree every 600
something
years.
like that.
So there, I didn't see a 1 degree
Exactly.
shift. That oops.
Oopies. I guess we're
No,
gonna have to
not
blow up
even
the
a couple
Georgia
of seconds of
Guidestones.
Yep, for sure.
Thanks for my
As soon as people figure out that it's not just Polaris that's in the same place in the sky all the time, you know what I mean?
Right.
I remember as soon as we heard that, we looked back like 6,000 years in Stellarium, and it was always the same. And we were like, that's odd.
Yeah, that's peculiar. Yeah.
You guys have seen those ancient monoliths, right? That line
No.
up with.
That's also odd.
So many monoliths, so many ancient structures. Teotihuacan, all the way to Stonehenge, back and forth. They're all lined up still.
Yeah, but they say that they were lined up with a different star back then.
Yeah, but according to Stellarium and every model we know and everything that Stone just pointed out, no.
Yeah,
False.
exactly.
It's like, nope. We can just say that as like a fairy tale we tell kids, but yeah, when it comes to modeling, data, analysis, anything, nope, none of that's real.
Did you guys account for Coriolis,
Well,
though, when you make that assertion?
I think the clincher is to have both sources in the video. It's not just my software that we're looking at here. We're looking at Airy's paper, and we validated Airy for the first 2-3 minutes of this video on how totally on this guy was. And all the time, this guy was on the job doing it. He is absolutely infamous for for not only the immense development of the astronomical observatory function set, if you will. He created a bunch of new departments of action and research. The guy was a machine and was not above doing any of the most menial work himself. Because again, you want it done right, you want to know that it's done, you do it. And that was his MO from the beginning till the end. He died, he was like 90, 91 years old, and financial equivalent, I think he had about $3.5 million as far as his net worth was concerned. And back then, people lived like dirt, so you can imagine how he was perceived by the common man. It was just amazing to read everything that he did all in one go. It's just pages and pages of information about stuff he did. Just his workflow is stymieing. So to have both of those, his 5-pager with explicit figures, with 900th of a degree level of precision in the measurement, saying, all right, that's where the star is, and we stupid humans, we're pretending we can do it better now or something, and that we're even more precise than that. All we're doing is edifying him in the readings and the recordings that he gave us. That everything he put down on paper was as absolutely ramrod straight, precise as you could possibly imagine it to be during their time in history. And we're doing no better now, and we're seeing all the same measurements. Just more precise version, more decimal points than before, but it's still the same information. It's still the same position in the sky. And I think science, to some degree, is helping us out. Smash the globy assertions just like that.
That's like my daily schedule, though. Like, I wake up, disprove Earth's motion, optimize the cog, divide the border between Canada and America. Like, I do this on the daily.
Go check out the eclipse. Yeah, totally, man. We work out astigmatism and lens aberration 3 different ways from Sunday. And hey, where are we going for lunch? So glad you guys could see it. So glad we have such an awesome large crowd here to catch it. That's excellent. Thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate that.
This was epic. I'm screenshotting it and stealing it as we speak. I'll be using these as argumentation in the future going forward immediately.
No need to screenshot now, man. I'll be uploading it in a few minutes, after we're done here. Waiting for FEF to start. It's going up to the BitChute channel just like everything else. It's going up to my very own channel on Telegram just like everything else. And that's the place you go if you want to see the nice original high-res version.
By that you mean steal the best quality, and I love you for that. Thanks, Stone.
Steal away, bro. That's what it's for. That is what it's for. It's ammunition for all.
And it's
Tony,
quite so well done.
That was excellent. Thank you so much.
Hey,
It is my absolute pleasure.
can I you're gonna post that to your BitChute, right?
Oh, you bet. And Telegram for the higher res version.
Is there a way to get a downloadable version? That way I can just keep it on my phone and don't have to have internet for it.
Are you on Telegram?
I haven't downloaded it yet.
Oh, okay, neophyte. But anyways, if you are just getting it off BitChute, I recommend an add-on. I use the Brave browser, lame enough as it is, but you can pull like a YouTube downloader or that type of add-on extension for your browser, and that works on BitChute.
Did you call me a neophyte?
You would be a Telegram neophyte when you do finally download it. Yes, that's what I called you. Sure.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Absolutely. Well, I guess you would be a Telegram noob too, as far as the word goes. Yeah.
Airy's actually invented the word noob.
Yeah, really.
How are you? I'm doing well.
The list of accomplishments almost make him sound mythological. Reminds me of like the
Yeah.
Shakespeare words. Have you seen the Shakespeare word list?
No, I haven't.
It's like the amount of words that Shakespeare supposedly coined throughout his like long or short-ish history of writing plays.
You mean Sir Francis
Well,
Bacon?
Or Edward
was a
de Vere,
busy
whoever you guys
guy.
think. The point is,
Or whoever it
reminds
was,
me of
yeah.
that, where it's just so many different things that are attributed to this one guy.
That's like so many of the older figures who were prominent, Like the guy who wrote the Constitution also wrote the first Articles of Congress and also wrote the first speech for Washington and also wrote the reply and also wrote Washington's reply. It's like once you start looking at history, you realize that the people who were prominent were very prominent.
Workhorses.
Yeah.
I think it's more than that. I think it's the fact that's just how mankind is made. Like anyone who was competent in any area had to also be a father, a husband, deal with his animals, all of this stuff. Right? And then
Bricklayer.
on top of that, on top of that, he's has his specific profession, and then oh shit, there's some hoarders. Let's go and grab my sword and kill them. Like every man was like required to be like this. The deception is that somehow that doesn't apply anymore.
Emasculated.
All
It
from
sure
a
made the
man and his
memorization of history
telescope.
easier. Several telescopes. Yeah, that guy was busy.
Awesome. So if there's no
that's the
further
stuff
areas related stuff, do you want to wrap up, Stone?
Yeah, I think we're good. Loud and proud around here. Thanks for coming, guys. It's been awesome as usual.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you very much.
The video was awesome. Great soundtrack, and the graphs and diagrams are fantastic, man.
Thank you, Stone.
Thank you so much. Let's hear it from my man Jeff Healey.
Shout out to Healey.
Before you wrap up, I grabbed a screenshot there in your presentation, and this is one of the biggest things that never really gets brought up in the conversation. It's almost like it's entirely avoided. And I remember thinking about this years and years ago, like star positions in the sky. Like the time of day that you can see Orion. For me, it's Orion. I have an infatuation with Orion. But thinking about it,
Go to the main chat, Stone.
Yeah.
Oh, let me check.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
that right there is like the biggest falsification of the globe ever, if you just put a little thought into it. But people never do. They just don't even. Like, how would you even rationalize seeing Draconis at 6 p.m.? How?
Well, the theorem is that it's happening at either dawn or dusk, so that the sun is 90 degrees off of the angle you're looking at the sky. You're looking at the zenith, right? If you're looking vertically and the sun is away from you, essentially horizontally, that's I guess, as little interference as you can expect to get from the sun at a 12-hour interval.
But my question is,
So,
how at 6
go ahead.
o'clock in the morning? How at 6 o'clock in the morning could the Draconis be at your 90 degree zenith? And then in the same month at 6 p.m., it would be 90 degrees to your zenith.
Oh no! In the same month at 6 p.m., it's down near 15 degrees above the horizon. It flips around on the underside of Polaris to the same angular distance away from Polaris that it always is. This is why I put those animations right in the middle. Let me, am I still broadcasting? Let me bring that back up.
Yep.
Here, if you guys want to take a peek. Let's get on over there. After that, and so we're looking at this, and yeah, sure. And then here we are, right? So here we are at 6 a.m., right? That's your March 6 a.m. shot. And as it stands right here, when we look back at the shot that you've got, essentially it's about almost a vertical measurement in the telescope. That is it just below that dot? Is it just below here, or is it just above here when it whizzes by right to left? You can see when it's going around what I mean. That, you know, what's happening when it's going right to left. Here's the 6 p.m. shot, right? It's whizzing by left to right now because it's the bottom of the circle. And is it lower or higher because of the aberration, because of the direction you're actually going is this way in terms of the solar ecliptic? Like you're kind of falling over backwards or falling into it forwards at this point at 6 p.m. You know, this is the aberration that they're looking for. Is it a little bit this side of the dot, or is it a little bit that side of the dot? But we take our measurements when they're at the zenith up here. So this is where we're taking the measurement in March. And is it just a little less elevation? Is it lower, or is it a little bit higher than that when you spin the telescope 180 degrees, figure 1, figure 3 style? That's what he was doing with the whole micrometer thing that he has had set up inside this telescope. That he would take the light through it and reflect it over here and then reflect it over there, and then he would put it across a series of wires that are going to measure how close to the zenith this puppy actually is. Is it just a fraction of a degree higher than that, or a fraction of a degree lower than that, based on is it March or is it September? Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good way to demonstrate it. I love it, and I'm totally going to use it from here on out.
Awesome. I invite you to. What I really want on this subject is some clarity in the audience. You know what I mean? I want people to be talking about what actually happened, what's really going on in the telescope, what the measurement is all about. I don't want to be talking about, oh, he tilted it, or there's ether, or those other bogus things. I want to get right down exactly what the guy was talking about, the whole reason that he set it up, and how the measurement was taken. I think that's the only thing that I left out in this 9-minute video, and I really didn't want to make it any longer than that. People should essentially, in their mind's eye, they should be able to see that when we finally get to this view here. That you're literally, you can see with the larger arrows here that when you're standing on the equatorial side, the south side of the telescope at 6 a.m. in March, this sucker is spinning around like the Earth is spinning around, like you're coming in and out of the page, so to speak. The Earth itself, the telescope itself, would be spinning into the page at 6 a.m. You can see how the arrows of rotation would tell you that. And because you're spinning into the page, this star is going from right to left through your view at the zenith. That's how the measurement was taken. And is the star appearing slightly on this side or slightly on that side of your zenith? More elevation or less elevation? And that's what he talks about when there should be 30 arc seconds in difference between the two. There versus 6 p.m. in September, over here when you're doing exactly the same thing. It's going by side to side, but is it on the high side or is it on the low side? And the point is, the answer is neither.
Neither, right?
The answer is neither. That there ain't none of that going on. That he said, oh, there should be 100 arc seconds this way or that way, you know, because what we see. Well, no, that ain't true. This overlap here is only 2 arc seconds. This to this is 2. So all of the data, except for the 2 I put X's on, because those are essentially error. Those are unacceptably outside, you know, the instrument error. That everything in between here, these 4 arc seconds of reading here, that's 900th of a degree. Right there. If you can picture that in your mind, if you pick up a sextant where it's, you know, you're looking at the horizon and the sun is up in the air about 25 degrees or whatever it is based on your latitude, and the horizon is at 0, essentially 0 degrees. But just picture the amount of shake in your hand, or the boat that you're on going up and down in the waves, and what the instrumental error is in that kind of situation. It's degrees plural. Here, with a stationary telescope, he's cutting his error down to, you know, less than a 900th of a degree, and all of these data points exist within that span. I mean, I can't think of anybody doing it more precisely than that in any practical way. And this is telling me we're just not moving. There's just nothing going on in terms of aberration. There isn't any. None. None. So eat that, Globies, is all I have to say. You know what I mean?
I wonder if he took that precision to military application.
Great stuff, Stone.
I didn't quite catch you there.
I wonder if he took that level of precision that he was able to do to military application.
Wait.
Well, I don't think Airy did much in the military department. Not as far as I've read.
Are you saying that Airy literally measured 0 aberration, so that are we saying that there is no stellar aberration ever, or just that Airy failed to measure any in the famous experiment?
When you add a refractive medium, there's no change in the angle that the starlight comes in at, meaning that we're stationary AF.
So all stellar aberration is just refraction in either direction.
Nope, that would be, well, there is a deviation from their true position or whatever, you know, established arbitrarily by the nautical almanac, right? But that's not.
Oh yeah.
You know.
So that's how they use that then, because otherwise.
It reminds me of the dip chart. You guys know the dip charts that they have in marine navigation, where you're supposed to apply a dip figure.
Yep.
Did you guys ever check the units of measurement they use on those dip charts? They're in minutes and seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just this minor, slightest sliver of a degree, and you're looking hundreds of whatever the hell away from you, hundreds of yards, just this little teeny correction where the shake in your hand is a couple of degrees. I mean, what are you talking about?
Just a little dippy dip.
There's no correction there. It's a myth, a numerical myth. This takes us right back to Jesse, you know who, with the worshiping at the altar of the golden theodolite. That instrumental error, just like, come on, 3 inches of optical travel in your instrument, measuring 105 miles away. It's like, oh yes, all of this is happening within 5/8 of a degree. We're measuring the whole thing right in there, and oh boy, are we precise, but like, not accurate at all. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke that mainstream accepts this.
Classic mainstream. All right, well, I think we're going to wrap it up now.
Right on, gang. Again, thanks for coming. Hope y'all had a good time. And by all means, catch it on the 2 places I'm going to upload it if you want to review it again and again, and show it to other people, please. Let's cut the controversy and the conjecture to 0 and flatten the globies with the actual data.